Well, I'm glad we got to have a conversation. That's always fun. I always love the more like interactive calls when we can all like talk back and forth. Um, but today I figured we would kind of talk a little bit about body composition um, during the holidays and strength training a little bit. So, um, body composition, because I've been doing a lot of metabolism reviews lately, and I feel like those people doing metabolism reviews are focused on body composition change. Like, so it's not necessarily the number on the scale or and whatnot, but more about like how you feel in your clothes and how you look in the mirror and how you feel in your skin. And body composition is just the breakdown between how much body fat you have and how much muscle mass that you have. So over the holidays, we are probably consuming more food than we, normally would. We have more treat days. We have more special occasions, which are totally fine, right? Because we put them in the plan for a reason so we can enjoy those things. But one of my favorite things to do as like someone who loves to like program strength training for people, is when you are consuming more of those extra calories and extra food, is using them to fuel your workouts and help you build muscle. In order to actually build muscle and like put muscle on our bodies, we have to, one, be fed to be able to fuel that muscle growth, and also two, be sending the signal to our bodies to actually build muscle. And that comes from consistent strength training, whatever that might look like for you. Remember, strength training doesn't have to be just like dumbbells, barbells, all that kind of stuff. It can be body weight. It can be bands. We can do strength training a million different ways. But when you are intaking maybe a little bit more food, and this topic was kind of inspired by a post that I saw today, is that, a lot of times during the holidays, or what we've been taught in the past, is like we have to either save up our calories, but we don't do that in Fitme, but maybe other things, but we've been told to like save up our calories, or you might have to cut calories here to make up for whatever you're doing over there. But one of the things that a lot of people don't ever talk about is that if you are consuming maybe a little bit more calories than you normally would, you're having more treats, which is expected during this time, is actually putting those calories to good use. If you are trying to have a body composition change, if you are trying to build muscle, if you are trying to lose body fat, those extra calories can actually be really helpful. Because if you're someone who is consistently under eating or under fueling, it is going to be a little bit harder to be able to build muscle unless you are a complete and utter newbie to whatever training you are doing. Like someone, for example, me, who's been strength training for a long time, it's going to take a little bit longer to build muscle and I'm going to have to be well fed to do it. But if I was someone who's never strength trained before, and I am starting in on strength training and starting to, fuel my body better, I'll probably build a little bit more strength and more muscle quicker than the person who's been doing it for a really, really long time. So I thought that was like a cool, different way, or a different take on, fueling your body, eating more food, showing you how that extra food can actually be really beneficial to your overall body composition, to your overall goals, whatever they might be. Because the more muscle we have, the quicker our metabolism is, the more fueled it is. So you're naturally just burning more calories at rest. Muscle is more dense. So even if, numbers on the scale or how you're feeling in your clothes, maybe your body looks a little bit different, you're going to look a lot different with more muscle on than body fat, even if the number is the same. But also having more muscle is going to help us as women as we age. I'm pretty sure it's after 30, we start losing, I think it's like 1% of bone density or muscle mass over like a decade. So when we get older, osteoporosis, osteopenia, and that can come from being underfed and not fueling our bodies, and also not sending the signals to actually build muscle. So I thought it would be cool to kind of just see what your guys' thoughts are. If you have ever thought about like when we are consuming more food, how we can actually use it as fuel for our workouts, for our bodies to change our body composition, if that is something that you are looking to do. Or did I just confuse everyone?
Say that
I'll be
again.
looking to do that one day, but not today.
You're getting consistent back with your overall movement. She said a little bit.
I'll talk. So I went through a weight loss season, and then after the weight loss season, I gradually increased calories and started doing more strength training. But I feel like I never see any kind of body composition change ever. I can't see it in pictures. I can't, when I measure, I don't see it. I just don't ever see it. And so it frustrates me because I feel like I know I'm doing strength training for health benefits, but I feel like I will never see the body composition changes.
Okay.
And I don't know if it's because I'm older and I have more fat on my body, or I don't know what it is. I really don't. It's really hard for me to lose weight. And like, even if I'm super consistent, I still don't see those changes.
Okay. And
I get frustrated. Go ahead.
No, I totally get that, being frustrated. And depending on body fat percentage will definitely, I feel like it'll affect your maybe ability to be able to see some of those things as you are strength training and maybe increasing muscle mass. You might not look that, because we've been strength training for how many months? Like 3?
Something like that. But I've been strength training like all along, just with different, I don't know. I felt like I saw more changes at the very beginning, like you said, when I was going to the gym and I was using, like, I had more access to different machines and different weights. And I feel like now that I'm doing it at home, I don't see as much change. And when I do need to increase, like, I don't have the ability always to increase because I don't have a heavier weight. You know what I mean? Yep. And so Leah's told me ways to make things feel heavier, and I get that, but I don't know. I just feel like if I don't have the right equipment, I'm not going to see the changes like I did before. But maybe that's just because that was at the beginning. I don't know.
Definitely when you start a strength training program, and if it is something that you haven't done before, you're going to get what a lot of people call like newbie gains. So it's going to be, you're completely new. It's a new stimulus to your body, where it's like, holy crap, we've never done this before, right? Like, it's something totally different. So you are probably going to see more progress in the beginning because it's a new stimulus. Now, my guess is that like you mentioned, some of the exercises aren't as challenging anymore as maybe as they once were, because you don't necessarily have that increased weight to challenge your body. Because in order to continue to progress and build strength, muscle, whatever it is, you definitely need that progressive overload, which can come from weight. We can also really slow down the movement. So if you are doing a squat, and I can show you like different ways for like a visual example. Let's see if you'll be able to even see me. I don't know. So like if you're doing a squat and normally, you're going like this, that's going to be, a certain level of intensity. What we can do here now, if you're like On the way down, you're like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And even if you hold it down here for a couple seconds and come back up, that becomes increasingly more challenging than if you would just go at a faster pace. So adjusting the tempo is something that we could do if having access to heavier weights isn't an option. You can slow down the movement on the way down. You can also slow the movement down on the way up. Or you can even hold the movement.
Yeah.
But do you feel like that's still not as challenging as it could be?
No, that's challenging. It is challenging when you do it slower. I don't like to do it slower.
Yeah, me neither. Me neither.
But I also feel like, and I hate to say this because I am a coach, but I feel like if I didn't raise my calories, that I would have seen a little bit more changes. You know what I mean? But we keep raising them, and I'm like, maybe this is too many calories for my body. And I feel like it's, I don't know. Like I'm holding on to more fat, but I don't know. I know that's not part of it. I know.
You're not alone. I feel exactly the same way. So
yeah,
you're not alone.
And I haven't raised my calories a whole lot, but
where are you currently at?
I'm at 16, I think 1650.
Okay.
Yeah.
So it definitely all depends on the person, like calorie wise.
Yeah.
Like, so just only because I've done a bunch of different metabolism reviews, I'm guessing it's still probably a little underfed. So when like not fed enough to maybe see the physical changes that you want. Because if the goal is to build muscle and to build strength and see body composition change, is you actually have to fuel your body pretty much at maintenance to be able to see some of those like gains, right? Think about it is if you're not necessarily fueled to 100%, so you're under fueled, but you're having your body like, hey, I need you to go, pump out some reps here of this and that and whatever you're doing. But it doesn't have that energy. It doesn't care necessarily about building the muscle. Are you still sending an awesome signal to your body? 100%. It still has the obvious like health benefits of strength training. But to be able to build, you have to have enough fuel to be able to do that in the way that you want to see it. Is it a slow, gradual process? It is. Is it annoying? It sure is. And because I've definitely been there, and it's a struggle because you are putting in that effort and you are probably getting stronger. But if the body is underfed, and you're doing a good bit of physical output, until we've consistently sent that signal long enough that like, hey, we're fueling our body, we're eating enough for all of our activities, your body might hold on to some extra body fat. So slow and steady wins the race. It's not wasted effort.
I know.
It's definitely not wasted effort because you continuing to fuel, continuing to send the strength training, you are slowly adding that, like, Krista uses the fire analogy. You're slowly adding things to that fire to make it burn even brighter or even heavier, faster, whatever you want to call it. But you're slowly adding in those things. And as you continue to strength train and fuel your body, you're going to get stronger. You're going to be able to see some more body composition change. But like, I'll tell you guys like an idea so you can get an idea of like someone like, I guess my size, like how much I eat. I'm 5'1", I'm like 160 to 165 pounds, and I strength train 4 days a week. My maintenance calories are about, if we did it on like a calculator, I think 23 to like 2,400. And I used to not be able to, eat that much. When I used to eat 1,400 calories, I would gain weight. So my reverse took a very, 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 very long time, but that's because I had done so much damage to my body from years and years and years and years of over stress, underfed, underfueled, under recovered. Not everybody has to do as long of one as that, but it did take me probably a good 2 years consistently working up to there and staying up there for me to tell my body like, oh, hey, she actually eats enough. And now I can eat 2,400 calories and cut back a little bit and see some change. But it was a process, and I'd be lying if I said it wasn't for me specifically.
So Tabby, what does that look like?
So because I like to lift heavy, you guys know this. I do eat a lot of protein. When I tell you guys, it's about 1 gram per pound of body weight. So I do eat around 160 grams of protein a day. That's usually like 30 to 40 grams per meal. It really does help keep me very satiated. I didn't used to eat that much protein. Now I feel weird if I don't have it in my meals, or I feel really hungry and like ravenous.
So what does your protein look like? What do you eat?
So a typical day for me, I will have, if it is a day that I am not training, I will have a omelet that consists of 2 eggs, egg whites, and some type of like ham, Canadian bacon. So I get my protein kind of like from multiple sources in the morning, because usually when I'm doing food logs or I'm doing the metabolism reviews, breakfast is usually the lowest protein for most people, because in 2 eggs itself, it's probably only like 10 grams. So I'm like, okay, I want my eggs. I don't want to give up my eggs. I want to add to it though, to be able to make myself feel more satiated. So that is typically what I will do in the morning. I will either pair that with a rice, because rice is my all-time favorite carb, and I eat rice multiple times a day, almost every day of the week. Or if I'm feeling like a bagel or something, I'll have like a gluten-free bagel from Trader Joe's. For lunch, it's usually anywhere between 5 to 6 ounces of a meat. Usually I'm like a chicken, steak, tuna type person. For dinner, it'll be around the same, another 5 to 6 ounces. And then I do typically use a protein like supplement to help me hit that goal. And that's because personally, I just have a really big sweet tooth. Like, I have always had something sweet almost like every day of my life. And I like having my shake because it helps me hit that goal, but it also helps curb that sweet tooth for me. So sometimes I'll have it during the day. Sometimes I'll have it at night as like as a way to like hit my protein at the end of the night and like curb that sweet tooth in the evening after dinner. That's typically what it looks like. So I probably have like 4-ish meals a day, and they have protein in them.
What's your thought on Greek yogurt?
Depending on the Greek yogurt, it can be a high protein snack for sure. My personal favorite is the Fage Total Zero. Now, it does kind of remove more of the fat content from it, so it is a little bit higher of a protein. Where I think in like 3/4 of a cup, it's like 18 grams, which is really good. That's a pretty high, high protein snack. And then, but I would pay attention to your nutrition labels for sure. I know, I think it's Oikos 000 is another good high protein Greek yogurt if you need a
Yes.
high protein snack.
That's my go-to yogurt. Is how do you pronounce that?
I think it's Oikos.
Oikos. I've never tried to pronounce it. I just take a picture and send it to my brother.
Yep,
So,
that's a good one.
yeah.
I think the Dannon Fit Light is also another like decent high protein one, and they have like a lot of different flavors. I don't think it's a ton of sugar, a little bit, but that's also a good option.
Okay.
But that's a good point, Terry, is that also even if you are eating enough calories, which it should help, but you definitely want to make sure you are eating enough protein to be able to fuel that muscle growth. Because I'm getting a little nerdy, but like the most simple form of a protein is an amino acid. And amino acids are building blocks in the body. So they help you build things like tissue, cells, muscles. So we want to make sure that we're consuming enough amino acids to be able to build that muscle, because it is one of the nutrients that like our body doesn't naturally make. So we have to get it from outside sources.
So the amino acid comes from the protein.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
It's like basically if you broke it down to its molecular form, it would be
Please do.
the most simple form of what the protein is. So
Okay.
it's eating enough calories to support the growth, but also making sure you're eating enough protein, which typically it's usually 0.7 to 1 gram per pound of body weight, or even, target body weight. So if you're like, and I'm not saying anybody is, I'm just putting it out there, but like, let's say someone's 200 pounds, 200 grams of protein is a lot of protein. That's probably a lot more than what most of us are consuming. So then if you are not eating that much, what is your goal body weight? If your goal body weight's 150, then maybe start there. But if you're not eating 150 grams of protein, then definitely don't go from 100 to 150. You'll probably be a little bit constipated, to be honest, but slowly, gradually making those increases. And I always like to find little ways I can add more protein to my meals, like using bone broth instead of chicken stock. Easy way to add 10 grams of protein without having to eat a chicken breast. Beef jerky is also one of the snacks that I love the most. Archer, I think it's called Archer Provisions. They are the best tasting beef jerky if you need a good travel protein snack. I have it with me pretty much all the time, in case I need something. But when I've consistently consumed enough protein and enough calories, that's where I've seen the most like significant muscle growth and strength gains, and consistently doing the training and challenging my body.
So if you're eating, let's take the target goal of 150.
Mm-hmm.
So you're supposed to eat 150 grams of protein.
Mm-hmm.
How many carbs and how many fats?
So that depends on your total calorie needs and kind of where you're starting, where your maintenance calories need to get to. So that's more of it depends question.
Okay.
I mean, in a typical rule of thumb from the education that I've received is that if your calories, let's say you're a 2,000 calorie a day person, that's how many calories you need. You first set your protein. Protein's 4 calories per gram. If you would do 150 times 4, that's how many calories of protein you would have in total. Then you take that total calorie amount minus 2,000. So, whatever that math is. And then for women, and this is really talking about macro targets. So, I mean, if you ladies are tracking macros and want help with that, I'm more than happy to talk to you guys individually. But then usually I have people set their fat around 30% of their total calories. just for hormonal health. You know, you don't want to really go below that because then it can definitely affect things like your hormones, your cycle. And then usually I do the rest of the calories coming from carbs.
Okay.
Now, some people's bodies respond different to different breakdowns. You know, at first, probably before I really like fueled my metabolism, I couldn't eat as many carbs. Now I love carbs because I am strength training a lot. And the more I eat, the more recovered I feel and the better my lifts are. Like I've progressed a lot more in the gym because of that, because of feeling fueled. Sorry, I have a hair.
Probably cat hair.
Probably. Seriously.
I love nerdy Tabby, by the way.
Oh, I do too. That's why I ask her questions and she nerds out on us.
I do. I love it. And so I know sometimes I can be long-winded, but I like explaining it because it's like the more you know, you're like, okay, well now I understand why the hell I'm doing all this stuff.
You know, my weight hasn't changed, Marlena. I am so you. My weight has not changed. My composition hasn't really changed, but I am a healthier version of me than I was before I started Fitme. So I just look at other people my age and they can't bend. So yeah, I'll continue because I know I'm much more fitter, if that's a word, more fit than I was before.
You are definitely more fit. Also, not having as much pain because you are doing the things to help your body overall feel better.
Yes.
And when your body feels better, it will help you make more progress. You know, I think depending on what your goal, I mean, really there's no like specific formula to like it literally all depends. Like I feel like that's like such a blanket answer, but it literally all depends. Because it's all situational from where you're starting at. Like someone who, you know, like me, who's been under eating and under fueled for years and years and years, over exercising, overdoing it, over stress, never sleeping, all of those things. It's a lot of stressors. So it took time to undo all those signals. And that's the cool thing about the body is that like it is really adaptive to the signals that we send to it consistently. So if we're consistently sending the strength training signals, consistently fueling, it's going to help you build more muscle. The more muscle you have, the more calories you naturally burn at rest, the leaner you can become. It's taking me a couple rounds, I will be honest, like of cuts and, you know, maintenance or reverses to be able to get to a body composition where I'm like, okay, I feel pretty good in my skin. And sometimes it does take a couple rounds to ultimately get where you want, but just know that it's not wasted effort.
Yeah, I'm much more stronger than I was before I started also.
And I'd be curious if you actually went back and like look, do you have pictures from when you first started in Fitme?
I am a little bit thicker right now. So this last year has not been kind to me. So, but I still am in better shape than I was before. So I need to look at the positives.
I agree.
I loved your Facebook post, by the way.
Oh, thank you. After some tears were shed. Oh man.
First, but
What?
it made me a little bit angry at first.
Oh, Marlena, it made me angry too. I wanted to throat punch her.
You should have.
I think it made the whole Fitme community angry.
I think it did too. I'm very normally I really wouldn't let that like bother me, but it really got under my skin And then, well, you guys never really seen me mad, but it's a joke between like some of my friends here is that when I've played sports and you like you don't want to piss me off because I'll, I'll take you out. The
Well,
feisty
you are
side
a
of
redhead.
Abby. Exactly. My dad used to joke and say, he's like, I should have been a UFC fighter for all the fight I have in me. So yeah, my first reaction was to want to like punch her.
You do need to meet my son. He did some, he went to a MMA gym and oh shoot, I'm not going to remember the guy, but Nathan's not a big guy, but a tall guy. He's like 6 foot. And he was doing MMA and one of the Sylvia, would it have been?
Oh,
I don't know.
Silva. Yeah, I've heard of that
Silva.
before.
Yeah.
Anderson Silva.
Yes.
Imagine I know his name.
Yeah, I know. He showed Nathan a thing or two.
That's cool.
Yeah. And he has a lot of fight in him. So he's mellowed though.
That's why I still play soccer, is for that competitive aspect.
Yeah.
And sometimes, I'm not really an aggressive person unless provoked, but if you provoke me enough, then you guys have just never seen me mad.
I don't want to see you mad.
Everyone always laughs. I have a vein you can't really see, but I have a vein that like runs down like the side of my forehead, and when I get pissed off or angry, that thing pops out. It's a little scary.
Good to know. Good to know.
I'm not good at hiding.
Fix.
No.
Kaylee Grace.
Star.
Or no.
I don't know.
Yeah, that is Kaylee Grace.
There she is. He's a little fluffy right now. But I don't body shame her.
Definitely not. We don't body shame over here in Fitme.
Just
We do
squish
not.
No.
We do not body shame over in Fitme.
No.
All right, ladies. I know that this was like a really hodgepodge of a call tonight.
It was good.
It was good.
It was
Yeah.
good. I'm glad that hopefully it was helpful, and even some of like the sciencey stuff. So just like keep in mind over the holidays is not to like beat yourself up or feel like you have to work things off, which, I don't think any of us feel that way, but it's sometimes those things creep into our heads. I know it creeps into mine every now and then, where like my first gut instinct is to pull back, is to maybe not eat the calories because I feel like, I'm consuming more, so I need to pull back somewhere else. But rather than thinking of like that restriction, think of how can I utilize what I'm giving my body to help me, to help fuel me. So like days after, after Thanksgiving, I worked out, just giving this example, and then we'll log off because I know we're over time. But after Thanksgiving, I had one of the best workouts where I felt really strong, and like, I'm like, oh, okay. I can see that I can push that weight. I can challenge myself because I'm really fueled and have a lot of energy. So, that's kind of how I look at it. If I have a day like that, I'm like, I'm going to have a really awesome workout the next day and push myself maybe just a little bit more, and, not tell myself I can do it, because, you can always put the weight back. You can always change it if it doesn't work. But you never know till you try.
True.
All right, guys. Do you have any other questions, concerns, thoughts, anything?
Hey, do you still like your treadmill, Tabby?
I'll be honest, that thing is folded up in the garage.
Oh, okay. Oh, right. You moved.
Yeah. I've been trying to get outside, and now that it's like getting colder and darker sooner, I'm adding walks at the end of my workouts, because I hate taking that treadmill out.
Well, you probably don't have a place to put it either.
Not really. It's in our garage, so if there's any spot to do it, it would be there.
Yeah.
So lately I've just been going into the gym like about a half hour earlier to get some steps in on the treadmill. But I have heard really good things. If you guys are any office people, this actually, Brenda, this might be good for you, is they sell like, I think actually Christy has one. I think it's called like a walking pad or something. And it goes underneath the desk. So like as you're at the desk, you can like walk and whatnot there. I wish mine did that because that would be really beneficial, but it doesn't.
I wish mine did too, but it's right there.
Oh yeah,
in my
you have the
dining
big
room.
one.
Yeah, it's big.
Oh,
I'd rather-
Yeah,
there's-
I think Tina just got one or has one as well. Very cool.
Give me.
I feel like it's a little easier to maneuver than like the one that I have, the folding one. So all right, ladies. Well, if that is everything, then we will see each other all next Monday. Oh, I wanted to ask. I wanted to get feedback. I'm going to ask here first. What would you guys think if we actually did like a workout together during this time? I know it's usually like a call talking about something, but I'm like,
Yep.
if we have this dedicated time, like what would you guys think of actually like doing something together? Or if there's like a movement we all wanted to practice together on the call, just as a different way to switch it up.
Marlena could do it while she's driving.
Butt
Yeah,
squeezes.
Marlena,
But yeah,
I
but
could give you some core exercises in the car.
I would have to watch you.
But
I could definitely give you core exercises in the car.
that would be cool though.
Yeah, that would be cool.
All right, cool. So maybe we'll do that. And then let me look at the date because I'm horrible with dates. Okay, so today's the 29th. Next
28th.
Monday is the 5th, and Tori will be on that call. So
Oh, cool.
next Monday is the Tori call. We got the dates switched up with the message today. So Tori will be on next week.
All right. Okay. See everybody next week then.
All right, guys. Have a good rest of your
Bye.
night.
You too.
Bye.
Thank you. Bye.